The hell's this room for? Just a hair over 72. It's about 2.5 feet deep. I know exactly what'll fit here. 70-ish inches by 30. I want that one. So one of the best things you can do when you move into a new apartment is the fuck boxes initiative. So I'll need to get all this stuff out of the boxes, starting with my clothes. Now I would put my clothes in the drawers underneath my bed, but unfortunately those are full of tools. I actually want to put my tools in the closet, but I can't do that with all these fucking Nerf guns. So I'm gonna hang that up on the wall, but I can't do that because I don't know whether that should be white or if it should be black. That argument doesn't even matter. I could paint this side black and this side white, and if I don't like it, then I can just flip it over. So this fucking thing is the only thing that's keeping me from getting my room the way it is. So I need to go to Lowe's and figure out the Gesundheit. Yep, I didn't film any of that, and I loved every goddamn second of it. Black was a good choice. I got rid of 2 boxes. I feel real good about this. Carpet isn't even tacked down in the closet, just roll it up out of the way. While I do love the industrial look of bare concrete and foundation damage, probably rather have something that isn't this. It's gonna be kind of loud if I'm like up here fucking hitting things. Probably put some of this. I think that would be a pretty good surface to work on. It's great. Alright, I've got the foam floor in. I didn't film any of this either, and I hated every second of it. But wait. What's this? Oh, it's a Cobalt brand work table, not sponsored. And it almost perfectly fits in my closet. Almost. So here's a funny story, he says with spite. Legs of this table I measured were gonna fit exactly between the back wall and the rail of the closet. That was pretty good, and I knew this. The top of the table from here to here was gonna be 72 inches, which matches the opening here perfectly. I didn't want to have this stick out any further than it does from the side of the wall, so I wanted to have it cut at Lowe's, but Lowe's said that they would not. So I have 2 options. I can either unbolt the frame from the top of the table and re-drill those holes, or I could just cut the 2 inches of overhang off the back of the table, and that would work just as well. The problem is, got about like you know, 2.125 inches. You know, it's kind of it's a little unusual. I figured it was going to be pretty close to just 2 inches, considering the size of the frame and considering the size of the table. I come over here, and mind you, the other side was 2.125 inches. And wait, what the fuck is that? That's 1 3/4. They goddamn bolted the. First of all, what the fuck, Cobalt? How do you have all this machinery to make such a complicated shape, like jig weld all this fucking framework together perfectly square, cut the top of the table perfectly square? What kind of fucking monkeys do you have working for you that just, they didn't even try? So, I mean, I've already cut like a foot into this side right here, which is why my goddamn thing is stuck in it. So the top of this table is just junk now at this point. It's already on its fucking way down there at a fucking slope of about 1/2 inch over 6 feet. It would literally be easier at this point to buy a new fucking tabletop, have it cut to the dimensions I fucking need it, and drill the goddamn frame to the new piece of wood than it would be to try and save this fucking wreck. The good news is, instead of the list price of $200 for this table, apparently it was on sale for $150. But the good news, you can now spend that other $50 on a new fucking top of this table, because apparently this one is just junk now. So that's gonna be my tomorrow. What the fucking do? I mean, it's really kind of a shame though. I mean, it's got this nice chamfered edge. It's got this nice, you know, got the logo baked in right there. It's got this nice sealed finish. Something is telling me I should still try and make this work. I mean, I like to think that this room is big, and it is. Really, I just have like a lot of really small furniture. But this table, my desk here, and my old workbench here, this is a monster of a table. it's supposed to fit here, but it is in fact so opposed to fitting here that it won't. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know why my first instinct was to cut this. I mean, it only comes out to here, and the chamfer is like so good that it doesn't really matter that it sticks out at all. For fuck's sake, I went to turn this thing on and bend this thing backwards, and it fucking fell out of my hand and broke my goddamn mirror. They goddamn said they found a way to make transparent aluminum. Where the fuck is it? They need to make everything out of this shit. Fuck you, bitch. So far, the floor works quite nicely as a floor. You know, that's a pleasant surprise compared to... Anyways, I notched the side of the table on both sides because I'm not a monkey and the word symmetry means something to me. And I guess now I'm gonna put it back in there. Fucking measure the holes in the thing and then drill them in the right fucking spot so that everything will be good. Believe it or not, the workbench is actually in here, and I'm taking great care to line the edges of it where it hits the wall with this EVA foam, not only to protect the wall but to keep it from any vibrations from the table, keeping the noise levels down and all that. Sort of cut down on the sides so that it'll slip in. The excessive amount of engineering that went into these tiny side pieces to fill this gap here, so that now the side of this is also protected. So I figured the easiest way to mount the pegboard would be to use the original spot for the shelving unit. I realized I can't use the full-length board because otherwise you wouldn't really be able to actually hook into the pegboard. I would have to cut out these strips and mount them every couple of feet and actually keep the thing usable instead of, you know, just busting out the saw once again and just sort of cutting these out individually. I said fuck that, and I just sort of bought a scroll saw. I bought this one because it's orange and it was the first one I saw. But, I mean, don't get me wrong, I made sure it wasn't a steaming pile of shit before I bought it. It cuts real well. I got these 4 slats I'm gonna put every 2 feet, but now I'm really racking my brain as to what I'm gonna do for the rest of it. About a foot below this level, where it'll be sort of like flexing in and out. I'm trying to figure out the way to do this minimally invasive way possible. I'm not the first person in this apartment to use wall anchors or anything like that. I just imagine somebody going like, why the fuck are there holes in the closet? But yeah, I think if I drill these to the back of that and then basically mount that to there and then drill it into the studs where basically these things are, I think that'll be plenty sturdy enough to actually support it from the top. And then from below, I guess I'll just keep it so that it maintains a proper distance away from the wall and doesn't move around too much. This thing is gonna rest on here, all the way the 9.5-inch board that's just gonna sit and keep the thing up. I could just maybe cut some of the sides to fit in this cardboard and then use the cardboard to pop it up off the wall. Plenty of this shit just lying around. I could put a screw through this, fucking mount it onto this, and then yeah, I mean, I could just cut a bunch of this stuff and use as many as I want and I won't be fucking up the wall at all. So I'm gonna cut this board into strips, and I got the slow-mo camera set up here so maybe we can get some really wicked cool awesome cutting shots in slow motion for once, because I never fucking do that shit. This up just as a mock-up, and I've got 4 more slats here that I've pre-drilled that I'm going to attach to here, and then I'm going to put 1 screw through here where the stud is and here where the stud is. I'm going to put a wall anchor behind here where there isn't a stud and then drill these into the wall. Bar that connects to the stud comes all the way down to here, so I'm just going to put 1 here and there at the 2-foot marks, and I think that should be plenty sturdy. Hey, so I got the pegboard up. Kind of. Very sturdy here. I pretty much just screwed into the beam wherever it was a little bit loose. Doesn't have a whole lot of give to it. You can't really tell how much it, well, I mean, it's imperceptible. That's the beauty of it. It was meant to screw into the stud here. Clearly there's a stud there and there, but the screws, this is only like 1 3/4 screw. The goddamn, it's like half a fucking inch of drywall. So I gotta go pick up some more fucking, things now from the Lowe's. Alright, I'm back and I've got the long fuckers. For whatever reason, they mounted the shelf here, and I just figured the fucking beams were 4 feet apart, but when I was drilling the holes for the wall anchor on these bits, I hit wood. So there's actually a beam every 2 feet. Man, there's a lot of dust up here after doing that. I should probably invest in a shop vac. Alright, now it's in there, solid as can be. I've got it screwed into the board over there and there, so the shelf is extra sturdy, and this is extra sturdy, so now all that's left to do is to just... so it turns out that 24 pegboard hooks does not really get you that far, because I've still got a bunch of shit in this area here, and I got shit in that box too. And I actually still haven't unloaded this drawer because I'm lazy. Hey, it works. I got all my shit back in my closet where it needs to be. Need to sort through all my Nerf gun bullshit because guarantee you like 90% of that is just trash. But I mean, there might be some important stuff in there that... why do I even have these still, honestly? Like, what the fuck? But yeah, that's this thing done, and... oh, fuck.